The average life is expensive. Average thinking keeps people trapped. Average habits destroy dreams slowly. And the worst part? Most people never realize it until it's too late. Right now, millions of people wake up every morning, rush to jobs they hate, complain about money, scroll through social media for hours, then repeat the same cycle again tomorrow. Year after year, decade after decade, they don't live with purpose. They survive with excuses. But the 1%, they move differently. They think differently. They spend differently. They sacrifice differently. And because of that, they live differently. The truth is simple. Wealth is not luck. Wealth is behavior. If you keep doing what average people do, you'll keep getting average results. Average income, average lifestyle, average opportunities, average future. And deep down, you already know you were made for more. You were not born to struggle forever. You were not born to spend your entire life worrying about bills. You were not born to watch other people live your dream life while you make excuses about why you can't. But if you truly want to build wealth like the 1%, you must become someone the average person refuses to become. Because success demands transformation. Look at the world today. Most people want luxury without discipline, money without effort, results without patience. They want millionaire outcomes with minimum commitment. That mindset guarantees failure. The wealthy understand something the average person ignores. Your habits create your future. Every single day, you are either building wealth or building regret. Think about it. When others are wasting hours online, wealthy people are learning valuable skills. When others are buying liabilities, wealthy people are buying assets. When others are chasing entertainment, wealthy people are chasing opportunity. The gap becomes massive over time. The dangerous thing about being average is that it feels comfortable. There's no immediate pain. Nobody criticizes you for following the crowd. Society rewards normal behavior because normal people make up the majority. But normal behavior creates financial struggle. Normal people spend first and save later. Normal people depend on one income source. Normal people avoid risk. Normal people fear failure. Normal people wait for the perfect time, and then they wonder why they stay stuck. The 1% understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. Every level of success requires a new version of yourself. If you want financial freedom, you need financial discipline. If you want confidence, you must face uncomfortable situations. If you want wealth, you must become valuable. That means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term success. The average person buys things to impress strangers. The wealthy buy time, skills, and opportunities. That's the difference. A broke mindset says, I can't afford it. A wealthy mindset says, how can I earn it? One mindset creates excuses. The other creates solutions. And your mindset controls your future more than your current bank account ever will. Many people think becoming rich is about making more money. That's only part of the equation. Because if you earn more without changing your habits, you'll simply spend more. Real wealth starts internally before it appears externally. The 1% masters delayed gratification. While others chase temporary pleasure, they focus on permanent growth. They understand that every sacrifice today can multiply tomorrow. That's why successful people are willing to work in silence for years. No applause, no recognition, no instant reward. Just vision, discipline, and relentless consistency. Meanwhile, average people quit too early because they expect immediate results. Listen carefully. The life you want is built during the days you don't feel motivated. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired, but winners execute even when they feel tired, stressed, or uncertain. That's what separates the elite from everyone else. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. When you wake up early to work on your goals, you're telling yourself your future matters. When you invest instead of wasting money, you're proving you believe in your potential. When you stay focused while others get distracted, you're building a mentality that average people will never understand. And eventually, that mentality changes your entire life. The 1% also understands the power of environment. If you surround yourself with lazy people, you'll slowly become lazy. If you surround yourself with negative people, your mindset becomes negative. If everyone around you fears growth, you'll eventually fear it too. Your environment silently shapes your standards. That's why successful people protect their energy aggressively. They avoid people who drain ambition. They avoid habits that destroy focus. They avoid lifestyles that create dependency, because they know wealth is not only built through money, it's built through standards. The truth most people avoid is this: nobody is coming to save you, not the government, not your friends, not your boss, not society. Your future is your responsibility. That realization is powerful, because once you stop waiting for rescue, you start taking control. And control changes everything. You begin thinking bigger. You begin acting smarter. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop making excuses. Instead of asking why life is unfair, you start asking how to win anyway. That's the mentality of the 1%. They don't waste energy complaining. They focus on execution. While average people talk about success, wealthy people build it quietly, day after day, brick by brick, decision by decision. And understand this clearly: building wealth is not only about money. True wealth means freedom. Freedom to choose how you spend your time. Freedom to take care of your family. Freedom to travel where you want. Freedom to wake up without fear. Freedom to live life on your own terms. That level of freedom requires sacrifice most people refuse to make, which is exactly why most people never experience it. You cannot think like everyone else and expect extraordinary results. At some point, you must decide: will you continue living an average life, or will you finally separate yourself from the crowd? Because the moment you stop accepting average, your entire future changes. Most people destroy their future without even realizing it, not because they're stupid, not because they lack talent, but because they repeat the same small habits every single day that slowly keep them trapped. And the scary part is this: average living has become normal. People normalize being broke. They normalize complaining. They normalize wasting time. They normalize giving up on dreams because life is hard. But the 1% refuses to accept that mindset. They understand that if you want a different life, you must make different decisions. Every wealthy person you admire once had a moment where they stopped acting like everyone else. They stopped following the crowd. They stopped seeking approval. They stopped settling for comfort. That's where transformation begins. See, average people love convenience. They choose entertainment over education, comfort over growth, excuses over accountability. But successful people understand a powerful truth: your current habits are creating your future reality. If your habits are weak, your future will be weak. If your discipline is inconsistent, your results will be inconsistent. If your mindset is average, your life will stay average. Nothing changes until you change. And that's the part many people avoid because self-improvement is uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. The 1% sacrifices temporary pleasure for permanent success. While others are sleeping late, they're learning. While others are partying every weekend, they're building businesses. While others waste money trying to look rich, they're investing money to become rich. That difference compounds over time. A single smart decision may not change your life overnight, but repeated daily for years, it changes everything. Most people underestimate consistency because they only focus on instant results. They go to the gym for 1 week and quit. They start a business and quit after one failure. They save money for 1 month and give up because progress feels slow. But wealth is built slowly before it's seen publicly. Nobody sees the lonely nights. Nobody sees the sacrifices. Nobody sees the stress, discipline, and patience behind success. People only notice the reward at the end. The 1% knows that success is earned privately before it's displayed publicly. That's why they stay focused even when nobody supports them. And listen carefully. If you need constant motivation to work on your goals, you'll never reach your potential. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. The wealthy don't rely on feelings. They rely on systems. They create routines that force growth. They build habits that increase productivity. They protect their time because they know time is more valuable than money. You can always earn more money. You can never earn more time. That's why successful people become obsessed with how they spend their days, because every hour matters. Average people waste hours scrolling social media, watching other people become successful, while doing nothing to improve their own lives. The 1% uses time differently. They read books. They study money. They network with ambitious people. They develop high-income skills. They focus on becoming valuable. Because value creates income, the marketplace rewards people who solve problems. If you want to earn more, become harder to replace. Learn skills that businesses need. Learn communication. Learn sales. Learn leadership. Learn discipline. Those skills can change your entire bloodline. But average people avoid difficult skills because learning requires effort, and effort scares lazy minds. The truth is brutal. Nobody owes you success. Not because you're nice. Not because you work hard. Not because you want it badly. You must earn it. The world pays people based on value, not excuses. That realization separates winners from victims. Victims blame the economy. Victims blame their background. Victims blame luck. Winners focus on solutions. Even in difficult situations, they ask, what can I do right now to improve my life? That question creates power, because the moment you take responsibility, you stop being powerless. And responsibility is where wealth begins. The 1% also understand something most people never learn. Your identity controls your behavior. If you see yourself as lazy, you'll act lazy. If you see yourself as broke, you'll continue making broke decisions. If you believe success is impossible for you, you'll sabotage every opportunity. Your mind must change before your life changes. That's why wealthy people constantly feed their minds with growth. They protect their thoughts carefully. Because negative thinking creates negative actions. And negative actions create a negative future. You become what you repeatedly think about. If you constantly think about problems, you'll stay stuck in fear. If you constantly think about opportunities, your mind starts finding solutions everywhere. This is why mindset matters so much. The battle for wealth is first won mentally. Once your standards rise, your actions begin to rise too. You stop tolerating laziness. You stop accepting mediocrity. You stop wasting your potential. Instead, you become intentional. Intentional with your money. Intentional with your time. Intentional with your goals. Intentional with your future. And over time, those intentional choices separate you from the average crowd. Because average people drift through life. The 1% designs their life. They know exactly what they want. They know where they're going. And even when progress feels slow, they keep moving forward anyway. That level of focus is rare. And rare behavior creates rare results. There comes a moment in every person's life where excuses stop working. A moment where you look at your situation and realize that if nothing changes, your future will look exactly like your present. For some people, that realization comes too late. They spend years waiting for motivation, waiting for opportunities, waiting for someone to believe in them. But the 1% doesn't wait. They take action before they feel ready. That's one of the biggest differences between successful people and average people. Average people hesitate. Wealthy people execute. They understand that fear never completely disappears. You will feel fear when starting a business. You will feel fear when investing money. You will feel fear when taking risks. You will feel fear when chasing a bigger life. But fear is not the enemy. Staying stuck is the enemy. Too many people let fear control their decisions. And when fear controls your life, regret becomes your future. Think about how many dreams die because people are afraid of failure. Some people never start because they're scared of being judged. Some never invest in themselves because they fear losing money. Some never chase opportunity because comfort feels safer. But comfort is expensive. Comfort steals ambition slowly. Comfort kills potential quietly. Comfort keeps people trapped in routines they secretly hate. The 1% understands that growth only happens when you challenge yourself. Every successful person had to become comfortable being uncomfortable. That means waking up early when you don't want to, working after long days, learning skills when it feels difficult, staying disciplined when distractions are everywhere. The average person quits when things become hard. The wealthy push harder because they understand something powerful. Difficult seasons create strong people. Pressure creates growth. Struggle creates resilience. Sacrifice creates success. And nobody becomes wealthy by accident. Every level of success demands a price. The question is simple. Are you willing to pay it? Most people say they want success, but their actions reveal the truth. They want millionaire lifestyles with minimum effort. They want confidence without discipline. They want financial freedom while wasting money every month. That contradiction keeps them average. Your habits reveal your priorities. If you spend more time entertaining yourself than improving yourself, your future will suffer. If you spend more money impressing people than investing in your growth, your finances will stay weak. The 1% thinks long-term. That's why they make decisions differently. Average people ask, what feels good today? Successful people ask, what will benefit me 5 years from now? That mindset changes everything. Because wealth is built through delayed gratification. You must be willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term freedom. And that's difficult in a world addicted to instant gratification. People want instant money, instant results, instant success. But real success takes time. A tree does not grow overnight. Neither does wealth. The strongest foundations are built slowly. That's why patience matters. Many people quit right before their breakthrough because progress feels invisible in the beginning. But invisible progress is still progress. Every skill you learn matters. Every disciplined decision matters. Every hour invested into your future matters. Even when nobody notices. The 1% keeps working because they understand compound growth. Small improvements repeated daily create massive results over time. One extra hour of learning every day can change your income. One disciplined financial habit can change your future. One smart decision, repeated consistently, can change your entire life. That's how wealth is built. Not through luck, not through shortcuts, but through relentless consistency. And consistency requires identity. You must stop seeing yourself as average. Because the moment you believe you're ordinary, you begin settling for less. Less effort, less ambition, less growth. But you were not created to live beneath your potential. There is greatness inside people who are willing to work for it, not wish for it, not talk about it, work for it. The wealthy know that nobody cares about excuses. Results change lives. That's why they focus on execution instead of complaining. While average people spend years talking about what they'll do one day, successful people start immediately. Even imperfect action is better than perfect hesitation. You do not need the perfect plan to begin. You need courage, because action creates clarity. The more you move forward, the more confident you become. Confidence is not built by thinking. It's built by doing. Every risk you take expands your mindset. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your discipline. Every failure teaches lessons average people never learn because they quit too early. And eventually, you become someone different, stronger, smarter, more focused, more disciplined. That transformation is what creates wealth. Not just money in your bank account, but power in your mindset. Because once you stop thinking like the average person, you stop living like the average person too. At the end of the day, your life is the result of your decisions, not your intentions, not your excuses, not your circumstances. Your decisions. Every choice you make is either building the future you dream about or destroying it slowly. And most people never understand how powerful daily decisions really are. They think success comes from one lucky moment, one big opportunity, one overnight breakthrough. But the truth is far different. The life of the 1% is built through small decisions repeated consistently over time, choosing discipline over distraction, choosing growth over comfort, choosing long-term freedom over short-term pleasure. That's the real difference. Average people wait for life to change. The wealthy decide to change themselves first because they understand a powerful principle. If you become more valuable, your life becomes more valuable. Everything begins with self-development. Your income grows when your mindset grows. Your opportunities grow when your skills grow. Your confidence grows when your discipline grows. That's why successful people invest heavily in themselves. They read constantly. They study successful people. They improve their communication. They strengthen their mindset daily. Meanwhile, average people spend years entertaining themselves while neglecting their future, and then they wonder why nothing changes. The painful truth is this: Nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can build your discipline. Nobody can force you to stay focused. Nobody can save you from your own excuses. Your future depends on what you do when nobody is watching. That's where character is built. The 1% stays committed even when motivation disappears, because they know motivation is temporary. Some days you'll feel inspired. Other days you'll feel exhausted. But winners keep moving forward anyway. That's why discipline is more powerful than motivation. Discipline creates consistency. Consistency creates progress. Progress creates confidence. And confidence changes lives. The wealthy also understand the importance of sacrifice. Every successful person gave up something to reach another level. They sacrificed comfort. They sacrificed distractions. They sacrificed temporary pleasure. Most people want success without sacrifice, but life doesn't work that way. Everything valuable has a price. Freedom has a price. Success has a price. Wealth has a price. The question is whether you're willing to pay it now or suffer the price of regret later, because regret is expensive. Imagine waking up years from now realizing you wasted your potential, realizing you spent your life doubting yourself instead of believing in yourself, realizing fear controlled your decisions. That pain is far worse than temporary struggle. The people who win in life are not always the smartest. They're the most persistent. They keep going after rejection. They keep learning after failure. They keep building when results are slow. That persistence creates separation. While average people quit after obstacles, the 1% adapts. They understand failure is part of growth. Every mistake teaches something. Every setback builds resilience. Every challenge sharpens your mindset. Failure only becomes permanent when you stop trying. And that's why the wealthy think differently about problems. Average people see obstacles and stop. Successful people see obstacles and grow. Because pressure creates strength. The strongest minds are built during difficult seasons. When things become hard, average people search for excuses. The 1% searches for solutions. That mentality changes everything. Your environment matters too. If you spend your life around people who mock ambition, your dreams will shrink. If you surround yourself with negativity, your mindset becomes weak. That's why successful people protect their circle carefully. They stay around people who inspire growth. People who challenge them. People who think bigger. Energy is contagious. And if you truly want to build wealth like the 1%, you must raise your standards. Raise the standard for your work ethic. Raise the standard for your mindset. Raise the standard for how you spend your time. Because your standards shape your future. The moment you stop accepting average behavior, your life begins changing. You start becoming intentional, focused, disciplined, driven. And over time, those qualities create opportunities average people never experience. Remember this forever. You do not need to be perfect to become successful. You simply need to stay committed longer than most people are willing to. The 1% is not made of superhumans. They're ordinary people with extraordinary discipline. People who refuse to quit. People who refuse to settle. People who decided that their future mattered more than temporary comfort. And now the same decision belongs to you. You can continue living like everyone else, or you can separate yourself from the crowd. You can keep making excuses, or you can start building the future you deserve. Because years from now, your life will reflect the choices you make today. So stop thinking small. Stop doubting yourself. Stop living average. And start building wealth, freedom, and a mindset powerful enough to change your entire life forever.